Hi, my name's Mike Ball, and I'd like to take you through some of the new features that we have in the Web Portal Toolkit today, using an HR solution as a demonstration. So let's take a look at the latest version of WPT and some of the new features we've added. So we come in here to the landing page. Everything you see, colors, logos, pictures, graphics, can all be changed accordingly. And if we come in and log in, we can use our standard OnBase logon to access the portal. All security throughout WPT is driven by the OnBase security model, the users, the user group profiles, what they can and can't do, what they can and can't see. It's also important to point out that with WPT now, we have support for the Highland IDP platform. So we can do single sign-on using the different authentication methods that are made available to us by IDP. So I'm going to log in first of all as a user called Hunter Rigsby. Now Hunter is a manager. So if we log in here, we're going to see our tile page, which is effectively a menu to the different subsystems within HR that he's got access to. So in this case, there are actually 8 applications. Hunter sees 7 of those because he has management access. And in a minute, you'll see the 8th one with another scenario. But he has access to all the different subsystems, including things like manager self-service that's only available to managers. If I log out as Hunter and log in as a regular employee, Henry is a standard employee, and you'll see his menu only gives him access to 4 subsystems, and the most noticeable missing is the management self-service that he doesn't have access to. So let's log in this time as a new user, Neil, who actually hasn't even started with our company yet. And we come in, and this time, led by the security, he only sees 1 application, and that's new employee onboarding. So let's click on the tile and go in. So Neil's about to join us. We give him a little visual aid here that his start date is June the 14th, along with a nice welcome message. And that's completely data driven. So as the process sets his start date, we would see it managed accordingly. He gets access to some useful bits and pieces. He gets an FAQ widget here, where he can look at frequently asked questions that he may be thinking about before he joins us. If he has questions not covered on here, he has access to a question widget where he can ask questions and get responses from HR to those questions. A useful side effect is it's not tying up our HR department with phone calls that are coming in. They can answer in their own time to get back to him. And then he's got some other stuff that we want him to use. For a start, he has access to our policies and procedures system. And if I click in there, we can go in to a version that allows him to view important documents, such as in this case, the employee handbook. And he can acknowledge that document to say he's read it. He could mark it to reject it and give a reason why. He can save it as document reference. For those of you familiar with OnBase DKT, it's a very similar idea. And in fact, it's our installation of a tool that replaces or potentially replaces DKT in this portal environment. And we've baked it into that new employee onboarding. He has access to electronic forms, things like his bank account details that he might need to fill in before he begins with us. And then he's also going to be needed to upload some documents to OnBase. Now this is a widget we have called required documents, and behind the scenes here we can set rules about what documents he must upload. And in advance we've said that we need his I-9 form, we need emergency medical info, we need a photo, and we can even create groups of documents. So in this case, something called an ID document is set up that it could be an ID card or a driver's license or a passport. Now you can see at the moment they're flagged red and we're told requirements are not met. If I click and find Neil's photo, and as it uploads you see it goes green and the photograph section has gone green. And if I choose that I'm going to upload his ID card, I can upload that And we get green for ID card, but more importantly, we get green for the whole ID document section. And now our requirements are met overall. Now, once we meet those requirements, that status can be used to continue to drive the process. So perhaps another widget would now appear that he can go on and do some more information we need. Like the rest of WPT, this employee on portal is available on mobile devices. So he can access this from his phone, from his tablet, and everything I'm showing you this morning is freely available using mobile devices. Let's go out again and come back in as Henry. And we can come in and we can go into perhaps employee self-service. The idea, of course, accessing all the information that Henry needs to have. He can view his documents within a folder structure. Notice that we only see Henry because we fully support security keywords. So Henry would only see his own documents, and he can access those through folders using regular OnBase folders. He can access certain electronic forms that we want him, things like holiday request. He can also go to policies and procedures. He has access to the FAQ and to the Ask HR if he wishes as well. Up here, we've given him a simple search tool, and he could, if he wanted to, ask to see his pay slips for a particular year. And back come those pay slips for 2017. Back to the home page. He has a different upload widget than we had in the new onboarding, and he can upload, in this case, 4 different document types if we want to. Notice here we've pre-populated with his employee ID and his name. When we log on to the portal, we can use that information. We can add it as default so that any documents can automatically be indexed with that kind of data. So for, say, a vendor portal, we could index every document with the supplier that's logging on to the system. If I come back out once more, go back in as the manager, as Hunter. So in this case, we could go into Manager Self-Service, and this time Hunter is going to get a manager's perspective on the kind of information available. He can still access the folders, this time based on his team members and the documents he's allowed to see within there. He can access any workflow tasks that are available, so he can review and approve or reject any holiday requests, invoice approvals, anything else that his role sees fit. He gets a management view of the policies and procedures system, and using this table widget, he can either sort on particular columns within the data just by clicking, or he can go to a filter and he can, for example, pick a particular status, so overdue documents, and he could even, perhaps he's going into a one-to-one with Stephanie, he can ask to see overdue documents for Stephanie, and he can see straight away she's got an operating procedure document that she should have approved on the 5th of May. So he can politely point out to her that she needs to do that kind of thing. Down at the bottom here, we have access to WorkView. So this is a WorkView result set. We've got a list of the employees within the system. And when I click on Henry, I can see Henry's details, including a photograph. And also tied into the same click, I can see a different table that shows me all the holiday requests that Henry has already booked in the system. And as I click on a different employee, we'll see that employee come up with their data and with their corresponding vacation time. So to summarize, WPT produces responsive websites for OnBase. It will work on a desktop browser, tablet or mobile without any changes to what you've built. It's fully multilingual, so it can be delivered in the language of the user. It allows custom branding so that the customer can build in their logos, their corporate color set, even their fonts as required. It requires no programming whatsoever. WPT hides you from that complexity. It can be extended. We built a number of standard widgets that are ready to go with OnBase functionality, but it also provides the ability to create custom widgets that can be extended by programmers. So for example, data could be brought in from ERP systems or external tools and toolkits, and it's very fast. Just to give you an idea, the demo that I've just shown you through was actually built from scratch in 5 days.